In 2014, I walked into a meeting with the owner of a cosmetic clinic in the Dominican Republic. I presented my strategy, I laid out my methodology, and this woman, who also ran a business of her own, questioned if I was capable of doing the job. Not because of my ideas, but because I was a young woman running her own agency. I left that meeting humiliated, and within weeks, I was already applying for new jobs. I was ready to quit. This was 12 years ago. Today, I run a team of 12 people, and I serve clients across the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, and South America. And I built every piece of my agency from a country where most businesses didn't even know what digital marketing was yet. This video is the story that no one tells you about building a business. Not the highlight reels, not the revenue screenshots, the real version, the lonely version, where you're working 16-hour days, pretending to your family that everything is okay, and wondering if you've made the biggest mistake of your life. I call this the lonely trap, and every entrepreneur falls into it. Here are 4 lessons I've learned over 12 years living inside it. When I started my agency, I had a graduate's degree in advertising. I had a master's degree in marketing, years of experience in traditional marketing agencies. And I incorporated my agency since day one because I wanted to be taken seriously. None of that mattered. When I sat across potential clients and they realized that I was the owner, not someone representing a big firm, the energy in the room just changed every single time. I could see it in their faces, the disappointment, the doubt, the quick glance at the door as if the meeting was already over. I had a master's degree, but nobody cared about that. They cared about one thing. Who else have you done this for? I used to get that question constantly. And in the beginning, the answer was nobody. Here is what I learned back then. Credentials open the door, but results keep you in the room. Social proof, your client list, your case studies, your track record. That's the only currency that matters in this business. Every else is just decoration. My first client was a natural gas company. My second client was a CrossFit gym. Not exactly what I've envisioned, but those 2 clients taught me something critical. Every industry is learnable. Every niche has its own language. And the agency that can adapt across multiple industries, especially at the beginning, are the ones that will survive in the long term. That CrossFit gym, I worked with them for about 5 years. But here's the thing, the lesson that changed everything came later, and it almost destroyed my agency. A few years in, and we landed a massive account, super recognized in the industry, the biggest paying client I've had so far. And I thought to myself, I finally made it. I was so excited about it. Turns out, I've made the worst deal. This client disrespected our scope, our team, and me personally. They treated us like we were disposable. We were covering their events on weekends. We were working after hours. We were paying production cuts out of our own pocket just to keep them happy. And the more we gave, the more entitled they became. At times, we would send them quotes of some particular requirement that they sent us that was outside the scope. And they would reply to us, CCing their accounting department, basically throwing us under the bus, as if it's saying we're not paying for that. They would do this every single time. Now, I know what most agencies owners would say. That's just the cost of doing business, right? Big clients are demanding. Well, I've learned that that's wrong. There's a line between demanding and degrading. And once a client crosses that line, no amount of revenue is worth what it costs you. I lost employees because of it. I lost sleep. I lost confidence. And for what? Because I was scared to lose a paycheck. And now I have a concept that I apply to every client. I call this the dignity line. If a client costs you your peace of mind, it's way too expensive. Doesn't matter what they're paying. The moment a client crosses that dignity line, the engagement is over. No negotiation. This went over for about 2 years before we both decided to part ways. And here's the part nobody talks about. Once they left, I was the one that had to pick up the pieces and bring back the morale in the team. I had to replace that revenue and recover from that emotional damage. And here's the thing, when you set those boundaries, the right clients will actually respect you for it. Some of my best clients' relationships have lasted over 9 years. Clients who trust our process, who respect our team, who celebrate the wins with us. Those relationships with my clients are the reason why I'm still here and I'm still doing this. The goal was never to avoid difficult clients. It was to protect the space for the great ones, the ones that push our limits in a good way and that are constantly challenging us to become better and better at what we do. But that lesson, as challenging as it was, is actually not the hardest thing about building an agency. The hardest part is something that everyone in this industry tries to hide away. For the first 2 years of my agency, I did everything. I was the designer, the copywriter, the content creator, the strategist, the account manager, the person sending the invoices, the person chasing those invoices, the person learning Facebook ads overnight because a client wanted to launch a campaign on Monday. I was working 16-hour days, in and out. I was working weekends. I was working during vacation with my family. All of it because I made a commitment with my clients and I refused to let them down. But here's the part that made it even harder. Nobody took it seriously. Being an entrepreneur back then wasn't as cool as it is now. There were no Instagram posts glorifying the grind. No one was calling me a founder. My family, my friends, they didn't really understand what I was building or why I was doing this to myself. So you know what I did? I woke up every single morning and pretended that I had a 9-to-5 job. Same routine, same time, same discipline. Because for me, that was the only way I could make it feel real to myself and to everyone else around me. This is what I call the 16-hour invisibility. The season of building where nobody sees your work. Nobody celebrates your win. Nobody pats you in the back. Nobody understands what you're sacrificing. Every entrepreneur goes through it. But here's what I want you to know about that phase. That season doesn't last forever, but it builds everything. The discipline I built in those years, the ability to learn any industry, to manage every function of a business, to deliver under pressure with zero support, that's the foundation everything's built on. My team exists today because I learned how to do their work first. And now they do it better than me. So if you're in that season right now, if you're the designer and the salesperson and the accountant and the strategist, and no one around you understands why, stay in it. It's not a sign that something is wrong. It's the price of admission. And it's the one thing that separates the people who make it from the ones who don't. But the last lesson, the one that would save you the most time and money, it's something that a lot of people get wrong. Every week on YouTube or Instagram, there's a new creator posting screenshots of their $10 million agency. Revenue charts going up and right. Post about how I scaled to 7 figures in 18 months. Or my agency hit $10 million in recurring revenue. And all of that makes you feel like you're doing something really wrong and you're falling behind. As if building an agency is supposed to be fast and eventually hands-free. I've run my agency for 12 years. I have a team of 12 people and I am very proud of what I've accomplished. But I don't have a $10 million screenshot to share. What I do have is a profitable business that survived over a decade, that serves clients across multiple regions and countries. And I built it without burning through my team and my sanity. There is this fantasy I see everywhere in this industry. I called it the hands-off fantasy. The belief that you can build an agency and step away while the money keeps coming in. And those $10 million creators reinforce this fantasy because they make it seem effortless. The reality is this: there's so much work that requires to acquire and maintain a single client. The proposals, the calls, the strategy sessions, the trust building, and all of that, month of relationship building, can be completely destroyed by one bad response from a team member, one poorly executed campaign, one missed deadline. Human resources is the most expensive part of running an agency. Finding great people isn't just expensive, it is hard. And in a business where the product is your people, you cannot automate your way out of quality control. Not at the level that small agencies operate. So when you see all those screenshots of $10 million agencies, ask yourself, how much time did it really take? Because revenue is not profit and scale is not sustainability. So if you're watching this and thinking about starting an agency as a side hustle, as a way to generate passive income on the side, start a different business. This one will demand all of you, especially at the beginning. And that is not a bad thing. It's just the truth. That being said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because here's what nobody tells you about the other side. When you build something that is hard, you become someone you never would have been otherwise. Every challenging client taught me where my boundaries are. Every rejection taught me that my work has to speak louder than my resume. Every 16-hour day taught me what I'm actually capable of doing when nobody's watching. 12 years ago, I didn't know I could manage a team across 2 countries. I didn't know I could build tools from scratch to run my own business. I didn't know I could sit across from someone who doesn't believe in me and just keep going anyway. This business broke me down more times than I could count, but every single time, it rebuilt me stronger. 12 years ago, I left a meeting so humiliated that I started applying for jobs. I didn't think I could do this. Now you're probably thinking, great story, but what does that mean for me? It means this: You're not doing as bad as you think you are. The beginning is brutal. It is lonely. It is thankless. Nobody pats you in the back. Nobody understands what you're going through. And that is normal. Stay consistent. Set your boundaries. Protect your dignity and the dignity of your team. Build proof of your work. And don't let someone who doesn't understand your path question it. Thank you for letting me share this with you, and I hope that you stick around. I would appreciate if you follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.